Happened to the Hovertrain? Well, for one thing, it was German designed. French had nothing really to do with it. I mean, well, French did have something to do with it, but mostly it was Germany. Germany was behind everything. My fear! How Lucifer! Actually, what they're really saying was, How Lucifer! Anyway, me and Lusifer Star. Lucifer Star! Anyway, yeah, no matter what they say, I'm Lucifer Star, and I was Lord, and I demanded absolute whatever. I mean, people gave me absolute anyway. So basically, I demanded absolute. Well, I demanded it. Well, more like I asked for it, really. But anyway, though, but they gave it to me anyway because they're like, well, you're our creator. We love you. So okay. anyway, yeah. So the Lord demands absolute devotion, which they did. They absolutely devoted themselves to me. I was like, I love you too. And when they gave me absolute devotion, I just actually loved them even more. I was like, I really love you now. Anyway, though, but what happened to the Hovertrain? Well, there's a couple of design problems. For one thing, up here in the front, for one thing, they couldn't deal with curves and or bends at all. It had to be a perfectly straight, perfectly level track, and also there were still going to be wheels in it and stuff like that. So there were a few problems, and realistically, it still had like three wheels, even though you couldn't see that there were three wheels. There were three wheels there. The air curtain was not enough, and basically they could not deal with curves they couldn't deal with ups and downs at all. Air curtains don't really work with up or down. I mean, they do a little bit, but not exactly. Anyway, though, it was an inefficient thing, and it was basically canceled. And basically, we were realistically just trying out jet engines and making our jet engines even more efficient, pretty much. And we used a lot of low quality jet engines until we got the really good jet engines. And realistically, it was just an engine test bed, really. It was a good way to test out jet engines because we could basically bolt anything we wanted to the top of them. Yeah, and all that. So basically, yeah. Realistically, it was the same thing as my Rolls-Royce Merlin engine thing, which is pretty much just a test track that we were testing engines on. Basically, we would build the most efficient, best engine we could and put it on the side, and then test it out and take it a couple times to check efficiency and check whatever, and do like, yes, we maintained a higher speed. Yes, and that's realistically all we were doing, was basically just putting on different jet engine designs to get the most efficient, best jet engine possible that we could. And that's pretty much what we did. We just unbolted one engine. There's even pins where you go and go, and we were just testing out jet engines, and stuff like that. And that's all it was. Just a jet engine test. It was never. I mean, they say they were going to transport people, and we built a test track, and it was really hideously expensive and all that other stuff, and really hard to do. Anyway, and once we built the first one, we were just like, well, we'll just use it as an engine test thing. I mean, because it was basically lying around, and it was way too impractical to actually ever be used. I mean, we did build one line or something like that, but mostly it was just an engine. It was just a test bed engine location where we tested all kinds of jet engines and all kinds of other jet engines. And realistically, I think that's what the engines could do, or something like eventually we had a way to basically fly them back, and then because we had to reset or something like that. Anyway, whatever, it was a project, and basically, like I said, it was just an engine test bed site, realistically, and basically was never really meant to be a real train per se. It was way too impractical. I mean, each foot of it cost like a couple $100 a foot or something like that to build the track, and then once we built it, it was like, we're never gonna get our money out of this thing. So we're just going to use it like a test track. And basically we tested out all kinds of engines on it. And that was it. That was the Hovertrain. Later on, they even took my old Hovertrain test track, and they started using it for electrical stuff or something like that, by making it higher or something like that. Anyway, a lot of my stuff would I think they kept the research going and stuff like that, mess around with it, because a lot of my stuff I built it, so it was basically just lying around. So other people go, what can we use it for? Oh, look at this! We'll try this out and see what happens for the leader. Anyway, like that. I like to get all acting crazy and all that, but yeah, basically, pretty much it was just a project. They had money put aside in the bank, and they were just working on basically the better train thing. And after 20 years or 15 years, they actually had come up with some pretty good stuff. And they kept on messing around with it and kept on messing around with it, and basically it shaped up and formed up and changed the world pretty much. A lot of these things, I spent a lot of money for it and a lot of work, and we built it. And then once we built it, it was there, so it could be used for a multitude of things. And meanwhile, I'm just like, yep, I knew it would pay off someday. They called me crazy, but look at it now. Changing the world one day at a time. Anyway, yeah. So a lot of these things, like they were just my crazy projects, and they didn't exactly work out that great per se. But they didn't go anywhere, and lots of people actually just once you build it, it's built, okay. And then they just were testing out, doing all kinds of stuff, trying out new things, trying out different things, trying out this, trying out that, and it actually had this weird effect of changing the world. Yeah, just like I thought it would. So anyway, yeah. But the test tracks were mine, and really not French, probably German or something like that. But basically funded by me, done by me, and basically it was inefficient, but realistically, in the end, it definitely paid for itself, because we were able to test all kinds of different engines on it, and lots of people used it. And then later on, they're actually doing the magnetic induction system on it. Because they figured out a way to levitate the trains magnetically, and so then Sony or somebody or some Chinese eventually like it and want to use it and do use it, and basically a lot of research becomes because of it. And it's like, well, it was mine, but I guess you can use it anyway. I think they even wanted to buy it from me or something like that. I was like, really, you want to buy it? But I think it's because it was mine, and I guess they found out that it was mine, and it's my test track, and they wanted to do what's called, and they were going to change the world or something like that. And eventually, I think I bought them or something. I don't really know. Anyway, but yeah, it's my test track, and I built it, and I spent a lot of money for it, and I was using it, but I got better jet engines and all kinds of stuff out of it. So anyway, yeah, Lusifer Star. Everyone would tell you, Lusifer Star. He's the creator. He's the one. He's the guy that did all this. He was the crazy psycho person that believed in the future and believed in technology. And he paid a lot of money for all this stuff. And people have just been using it and doing stuff on it and messing around with it and tweaking it. And now look at what we have now. Amazing, right? All because of one person that wanted to build a lot of things. And was more than happy to sign the checks over. And for you, or direct us. Like I say, I always required 10% of all profits, or more. So, sometimes even 50% or whatever. Not that much though. Realistically, I was just a rich man. I'm the creator of humanity. What the hell? The creator of 12 races and all that other stuff, and 800 galaxies and all that. So it's like, eventually one day you wake up and you realize, the creator lives among you. And his name is Brian Briley. He's actually LS, Lusifer Star. He's been here this entire time, just watching the grass grow, wandering around, wondering if you'll ever notice the fact that he's actually the creator and actually is over 100 trillion years old. And we're actually on two giant space galaxies that form a space clock. One's attracted to the other one and goes every 100 trillion years. They go. And it's a giant space clock. But someone was saying that the galaxies somehow had turned, and we're actually like maybe towards each other. So I don't know. Anyway, it should be more like like this actually, and we're like, with our spin. But I don't know. I mean, I did 100 trillion years ago, so, and we've been getting closer to this entire time. So anyway.